Hello VNTV, this is the KDT Optometry Show. Cảm ơn quý vị VNTV. Tonight we have a special guest, it's Tawnee Dinh. Thank you Tawnee for joining us. Tawnee is a former beauty pageant for Vietnamese San Diego, 2012. And tonight our main show is talking about health and how it affects from the inside, beauty, and how we feel in happiness. And so there's a famous quote by Sophie and I want to share with our audience. Beauty is how you feel on the inside, and it reflects in our eyes. And so that's kind of the gist of the topic we want to talk tonight. And so, Tawnee, thank you for coming and joining us tonight.
Thank you, Khoa. Hello, audience.
So, Tawnee, I understand you won in 2012
Yeah.
the beauty pageant. So tell us about your experience and how was it?
Well, so basically, I did win Miss Vietnam San Diego in 2012, and that's probably one of the most wonderful experiences that I've ever had the opportunity to participate in. The experience itself helped me a lot to feel more comfortable in my own skin.
Definitely.
And it actually taught me how to actually take better care of myself, including my skin, my hair, and even my body image as well.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's one of the things we want to talk about tonight. I understand you're going to share some tips for the ladies,
hopefully.
Right? Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. And so I know the process is pretty grueling. You had to not only go through the selection process, but afterwards, people understand, but there's a lot of responsibilities once you're the reigning queen.
Right, definitely. Right. People always look up to you. People always watch, what you're doing, how you're eating, how you're sitting, and even the way you walk, the way you stand. So for me, it's really about, just being yourself. But at the same time, taking care of oneself requires a lot of work. And as Khoa mentioned, it takes a lot of effort, and beauty is really, what is it? What was the quote again?
Beauty is how you feel on the inside, and it reflects in your eyes.
It reflects in your eyes. So, I mean, I can't really relate to that quote because I have really bad eyesight. And that's why I have to go to an optometrist like you.
No, but actually, the eyes are the windows to our soul. And people don't realize, but we can see so many diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure. Recently, I saw a gentleman, early 30s, had a stroke in the eye. He woke up one morning and then just half his field of vision was gone.
Oh, no way.
So yeah, so there's a lot of diseases we can detect just from an eye exam.
Right.
And so I always recommend patients to get it checked yearly, just an annual physical to make sure your bodies are healthy.
Right, right. I totally could relate to that now that you mention it. When I was younger, I did have high blood pressure. And so my doctor told me, Tawnee, you know what, you're young, you can have a stroke any minute. So that...
Did they find out what was the reason behind it?
Well, I was a little bit overweight at the time.
Okay.
You have your freshman 15,
sure,
and you're
okay.
young,
right.
and you're not very active.
You were enjoying the Little Caesars and the
Exactly.
In-N-Out burgers. It's all good. It's all
it was
good.
more the carne asada fries.
Oh, yeah, that'll drop some 1,000-calorie bombs at night.
Exactly. Especially, you're just growing up, you're staying up late, eating late at night is never a healthy thing. But I did have to, become more active with the exercising, and from then, losing the weight, the blood pressure, the high blood pressure went away.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, I really can relate to that, and yeah.
And also, you might have changed your mindset too, because sometimes high blood pressure, people don't realize it's within our mind as well.
Exactly.
Because when we're stressed a lot of stress in our bodies, our mind, our thoughts, it causes a lot of conflict within the cells of our body, and we're composed of billions of cells.
Right.
And then sometimes, yeah, it manifests in that.
Exactly. And I do recommend resting a lot. I personally myself sleep all the time. So the Vietnamese saying there's có một câu ăn được ngủ được là tiên, phải không ạ? So for me, I sleep all the time, right?
So what do you recommend? How many hours of sleep?
Well, typically I try to sleep 8 hours, but then sometimes, on the weekend I can snooze a little bit. Maybe that 8 stretches out to like 9 or 10 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, just sleep as much as you can. Sometimes you can take a nap.
Yeah, everyone has a certain set point.
Exactly.
That, you feel rest. Like for me, I sleep not as much as 8 hours, but then I have to nap during the day. It's just, I have an eternal alarm clock that I wake up and I exercise.
And you're used to it.
I'm used to it. So your body has a certain, whatever works for you, for that individual person. So they recommend the 8, but some people need more, some people need less.
Right.
It's up to your body. When it's working more efficiently, it just depends on individual, what your body's needs.
Absolutely.
Which transitions me our next topic, which is just overall health tips.
Okay.
Right, as I mentioned, we're talking about health, wellness, and just how you feel on the inside, right? And it translates to happiness.
Right.
And so you mentioned about nutrition earlier, right? You weren't eating the best foods.
Right. It definitely is
so
a lifestyle change.
How's that changed? How's your nutrition now?
So now, before I used to be so busy that I basically eat once a day. Right, and that, although I do intake less calories, but it's not the most healthy way of doing it. So now, I try to snack throughout the day so that my stomach is not always hungry, and just eating healthier. So I don't eat a lot of carbs. Sometimes like I do look at, sweets or bread. I love bread. I don't care so much about rice, but I love bread.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at bread and I really want to eat it, right? But thinking, like hindsight, do I really want to put that in my body, which is going to take longer for me to digest it, to burn it?
Which is a great point, because carbs, people think it's Emmy, but it's not. It actually depends on, for example, I'm into exercising, I'm riding bikes.
Right.
And so actually I need those
You
donuts,
need it.
that sugar, because it's actually the form of energy.
Right,
So
for you.
Yeah, so everyone's different. But if
Right.
you can't burn it off,
Then
don't eat it.
it.
Exactly. It depends on what your body is. But yeah, you're right. If you're about to, that's why the late night carne asadas
it killed me.
Yeah, you're throwing a pound a night. Basically,
Exactly.
you're adding a pound a night from eating those. So
Exactly.
because your body doesn't burn that off, and when it doesn't burn it off, it stores as fat. Because our body, it's great. It thinks that it's going to starve next. So it's like a bear. It hibernates. So it stores that fat. So it thinks that maybe you're going to need it.
I don't want to think of myself as a bear.
But that's how our bodies work, though.
Right.
Because it's very adaptive in whatever situation we're in.
Right.
And so that's what happens. And for me, I have to eat those carbs. Otherwise, if I don't have enough, it starts burning muscle.
Right. Okay.
So it's good to burn fat, burn muscle, but it's good to have the carbs.
Right.
For depending on the situation.
Yeah.
My next thing is, I know you're into exercise, as I am, and so. But what people don't realize, what exercise does to our body, is it increases blood flow. Right. Blood flow, as our body flows, the heart's pumping. It not only is the heart getting stronger, but you're excreting bad stuff out of the pores when you sweat, so all these toxins that build up in our body is actually eliminated. Right. And so people don't realize what exercise does to the cells in our body. Not only does it get rid of the waste, but it increases the mitochondrial content. Mitochondria is what produces the energy, ATP, in our body. So it's needed for every cell in our body.
Right.
And so our bodies work more efficiently. That's why doctors always recommend exercise. So when we exercise, not just about, don't think of it, you have to be on this diet. The doctors say, we have to find an activity that we enjoy. Like for me, it's cycling, it's hitting the weights, whatever it is, right? For example, I had a patient today. She comes in, 50 years old. She looked like she was in her 30s. I was like, wow, you're very healthy. She has healthy eyes.
Right.
And I asked her, please share with me your secrets. I told her about the show we're going to do tonight, and she told me, Dr. Khoa, you know what? I love to dance. And like, wow.
That's a form of exercise.
And so, it's dancing. She says she laughs a lot, right? Laughter is also key too, because laughter, what it does is it releases endorphins in our bodies and our brains. And endorphins, all people realize, it's the happy hormone, and it also helps with pain management. So whenever you're stressed, that's why exercise. You could be feeling terrible, but once you're done exercising, you're like, wow, I feel good.
High.
It's like the runner's high, they call it, quote unquote. But yeah, so.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's one of the key. And another one is people don't realize, but when I mentioned about stress, right?
Sometimes, that can really affect you.
Yeah. People don't realize, but stress, it's just this form of negative energy, right? The negative energy, it causes the cells in our body to not work efficiently, right? And so when it doesn't, it can, cause distress, can cause all sorts of sickness, right? Not only mental sickness, right, but also physical sickness. It's all manifestation. Because we can't be truly healthy if our mind and our body and our spirit is not healthy.
Right.
That's why I always recommend to people a form of meditation. There's many forms. It's whatever works for you. But basically, find a form that, like for me, when I ride bikes, I go out to nature. It's my form of meditation. It just allows me to be alone in my own thoughts. And this morning I was riding my bike and I was thinking, what do I want? I already knew what we want to talk about, but I already played it in my head how this was going to go. And
it's funny that you mention it because I just got this watch, right? So it's an Apple Watch.
Yeah, nice.
Now,
nice.
now I
matching.
Really,
oh, not tonight though. Not tonight though.
Not
the same one tonight. I thought I was wearing it, but not.
But the thing is, like, I never really thought that I needed to breathe. And sometimes I just forget. I'm so busy doing everything. And then today, surprisingly, it asked me to breathe. So Tawnee, take a minute to breathe and just meditate and just be by yourself and just, you know, collect about what have you done throughout the day.
Yeah, because in this busy world we live, you know, it's nonstop sometimes, right? I know you live a very busy lifestyle. You're so active as a realtor and as a loan officer, and you do a lot of, you're very busy. Right. I know you're professionally busy, you're personally busy, and I know you took time out to be my special guest tonight, so I really appreciate that. So just, you know, so meditation and just overall being still with your own thoughts.
Exactly. Right? De-stress somehow, some way.
Yeah, because people don't realize, but positive energy, positive thoughts, it creates this aura around you, and that attracts many more opportunities for people, right? Because think about, do you want to be around that friend who's a Debbie Downer? Or the one who's like full of energy like you, and like, you know, you don't want to be too much energy, that's kind of scary, but it's all about balance in life, right? But you want to be one who's positive, who will bring you up, not try to tear you down. You know, we all have people in our lives who we know can, you know, who are very positive, who will bring us up. And unfortunately, there's the other side of the spectrum. And, you know, I know some people go through some tough times. We all go through tough times. But, you know, to be a friend, but it's not good to try to bring people down, right? And sometimes there's like that quote, misery loves company, right? Unfortunately, but no, it's just, we all can do is try to be a good friend to everyone, and compassion does make the world go round, and right?
I believe in that.
Which transitions to my next topic. I want you to share some of your beauty secrets for our female viewers, right? Because you're a beauty pageant. I know, you sleep, you breathe in beauty. So, so please share with me, you know, some of your secrets to our audience. Not for me personally, but maybe I can pick up something.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. You know, maybe it doesn't only apply to the females, right? The guys can also take benefits of it.
Definitely.
So to me, if I have to give a beauty advice tip to anyone, I would say the two main products I cannot live without would be my sunscreen and my eye cream. I started using sunscreen, I don't know, when I was 16, and so my eye cream. Even with my boyfriend, you know, I was like, you have to start using eye cream and you have to start using sunscreen.
Looks like your boyfriend's good skin, by the way. So let's keep it that way, right? Let's keep it that way.
Right, and so with the sunscreen, you know, it blocks the UV rays from penetrating into your skin. And it keeps your skin a lot younger, a lot smoother. The same thing goes with the eyes, right? This area would probably be the most sensitive, or probably the whatchamacallit, like the thinnest piece of skin
it's
that you
very
have on
sensitive
your face.
there.
Extremely
That's why
sensitive.
when you don't get enough sleep, you get the eye bags.
Exactly.
And, you know, and that can be very deterrent towards, you know,
And your look and your image too. Sometimes if you don't have the bags under your eyes, you just look 10 times better, right? Now, if I have to recommend putting on the eye cream, this finger right here would be the best finger to apply the eye cream, because it puts on the less pressure.
Oh, okay, the ring finger.
The ring finger. So either you're right-handed or you're left-handed, right? And then my other piece of advice, so I knew this from personal experience. I have really dry skin, and so I don't really have a lot of acne. But once in a while, when I eat a lot of oily or fried food,
clogs the pores.
Exactly. Right? I got breakouts like everywhere. So for me personally, I would recommend, if you don't want acne, then maybe avoid some of those fried food. You know, I love the fare, but maybe just not eat so much. You know, try to grill, or try to just play games, I guess. Just enjoy it.
Awesome.
You know?
Which transitions me to our last topic, which is I always have patients, oh, doctor, I'm an optometrist here in San Diego, so they always ask me, you know, what can I do to keep my eyes healthy, right?
Right.
And so
tell me.
Okay, I will. I'll tell you and I'll tell the audience.
Right.
But our eyes are an extension of our body, right? So it is, you mentioned earlier, what we eat. Right? Nutrition, leafy green vegetables, kale. You know, carrots are actually full of beta carotene and vitamin A, which is actually really good for the eyes. So Bugs Bunny was correct. You know, eat your carrots, folks.
Exactly. Give me one.
The carrots are good for the eyes, but a lot of things that high in antioxidants, blueberries, dark berries, right? All the natural foods. Because when you're talking about the processed fried foods, that's full of free radicals, full of damaging things to our eyes and to our body. And so diseases like macular degeneration, you know, so many different diseases out there are due to an inflammatory process due to free radical damage. So a lot of it, I tell my patients, you gotta eat healthy, you know. And you know, unfortunately I see a lot of diabetes in my clinic sometimes, and diabetes is just this catastrophic to the eyes.
Wow.
Because what it is it's full, our eyes are full of tiny vessels, arteries and veins, and what diabetes does is it causes these arteries and veins to start leaking blood, because it starts losing its power, because with the fluctuating blood sugar levels, these vessels can't handle it, so it starts leaking blood. And what happens is after the leakage of blood, it causes scarring, and people start losing vision. I've seen people go blind from it. Well, people go lose limbs from diabetes.
Oh yeah.
Diabetes is a lot of times, type 2 especially, is a lot of it is lifestyle.
Right.
Right. It's disturbing to see when you have children having type 2, because that's purely lifestyle choice.
So how do we control that?
Nutrition. Just, you know, as parents, we have to feed our kids the healthy, natural foods. You know, not the processed, the fast foods.
How do you feel about organic foods?
Organic, I think it's wonderful, but you gotta be careful, because some of it's labeled organic.
Right.
Is it really organic?
Right. Is it really that much better?
I've done a lot of research. You know, I like to convince myself, man, organic, sure, it tastes better. I sure think this, you know, is it really worth the money?
Right.
And I've read a lot of studies, and sometimes it's not. It just depends on, first of all, proper labeling, and sometimes, you know, just because it looks like duck, it's not really a duck. And sometimes some of these, you know, so-called organic isn't truly organic.
Right.
But as long as we know where it comes from, but just nowadays, you know, we don't know what's in our foods, just because the stuff, the GMOs was, I don't know if people realize, genetically modified organisms. It's sometimes, it's to help mass produce food.
Right.
Make that tomato, instead of like a little baby tomato, make it like a size of a pumpkin.
Oh God.
Right? You ever seen tomatoes in the market?
I have not seen one.
Right, yeah, but anyways, what it is it just to help produce mass food, but what people don't realize is it causes our cells to not properly break it down. And so, you know, statistics-wise, sometimes it can cause a lot of disease, you know, cancer, so many different metabolic processes now that we see are going rampant in society. And so a lot of it is nutrition, right? What we put in our bodies and how we take care of it. And so
yeah, I could not ever imagine.
I know, right? So it's just, we got to, yeah, it's disturbing.
You just have to be careful now.
We just got to be careful, right? And so another tip that I can recommend to people, you got to wear sunglasses. I know you wear sunglasses.
All the time.
Right, yeah, you use a stylish
For the look
statement.
of it, yes, the aesthetic look of it.
Especially here in San Diego, the sun's out like 99% of the time.
And I never knew the insurance actually paid for those sunglasses.
Yeah, as long as it's prescription. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. They won't pay for plano, meaning no prescription. Those you have to pay out of your pocket.
Right.
But if there's even a little bit of prescription,
Right.
we can get your insurance to cover it, because
yeah.
it is a medical device, and if there's a prescription in there, it's considered medical. And then so people don't realize, even when it's cloudy out, the UV, which causes damage to your eyes, goes right through the clouds. So we got to protect our eyes. Wear some
The sun is still there, people.
I did a segment on Channel 10 News maybe a couple months ago. One of the producers came to my show, called my office, and we filmed a segment on sunglasses. And one of the questions they asked me was, "What's the difference between a good pair of sunglasses and, you know, the cheap ones?" Right. So you don't have to pay Chanel, right? I know you love Chanel.
I love Chanel. So my birthday cake.
But you don't have to pay the Chanel price for a good pair of protective sunglasses. You might not get the style of Chanel, but as long as you get the proper protection, right? And that's 100% UVA and UVB protection, which is very important. And a lot of times, sometimes when what you see these really cheap sunglasses, and it's not getting the full quality. And if you're not getting the full quality, you're not getting protection, and it can make matters worse.
Right, very true. So invest in a good pair of sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Is he the right doctor?
Yeah, there's a lot of good doctors here in San Diego. And so my last one is exercise, right? For the eyes.
For the eyes.
For
the
eye.
eyes also need to exercise. Okay.
So the eyes are actually controlled by a set of muscles.
Okay.
So I'll
Are we
recommend.
going to do one right now?
Actually, there's a really simple one that
Okay.
anyone can do. So there's a set of people sometimes, you know, get a lot of strain staring at the computer, reading a lot. So there's an exercise called pencil push-ups, or even finger push-ups. What you do, okay, you can follow me. So basically, you want to look at your finger, right?
Okay.
And what you do is you slowly, watch me, you want to bring it in towards your eyes real slow. And try to force your eyes, force your eyes across. And what that do, and then you slowly bring it back out. You're going to notice your eyes are going to cross, and it's probably going to break. But then your focusing will go really blurry. So bring it in as far as you can. You see your eyes moving in. You feel like your eyes are working? Okay, now slowly bring it back out. and then your eyes will start going back into focus. So I usually recommend, that's kind of the equivalent of doing, bicep curls. Right? So what that's working on are called the medius rectus muscles, and that actually controls the accommodation or the focusing of our eyes. And that actually can help people feel more comfortable on the computer when they read. It's just because, strengthening the muscles.
Right,
so it's pretty straightforward kind of exercise that everyone can benefit from.
I like it a lot.
So yeah, it's called pencil push-ups. That's just a simple one that everyone can do. But yeah, good job. Yeah, just do that and your eyes will be in good shape.
Okay, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks.
Yes, let me know. So, but pretty much, yeah, that concludes our show for tonight.
Yay.
And I want to thank you, Tawnee, for coming on my show.
My pleasure.
It was a pleasure. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. And please, let us know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer them. And thank you so much for watching our show. Have a good night.